Hi, welcome to Season 2 of Pamela Price Unfiltered. I'm your host, Pamela Price, and this is the space and the place for real talk. This podcast season is sponsored by the Eloise Real Estate Group. Eloise Middleton is more than a licensed real estate professional. She is a miracle worker. With over 30 years' experience in the Bay Area market, she specializes in residential real estate, single family, and income properties, including luxury homes, probate trust sales, first-time home buyers, and investors. Their motto is selling real estate is what we do, service is who we are. If you are in the market for residential real estate, call Eloise Middleton at 510-386-0547. Welcome to Pamela Price Unfiltered. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Legally Speaking. There's a major redistricting fight unfolding in the Supreme Court. While California voters are deciding whether to pass Proposition 50 to adopt an emergency redistricting map, the United States Supreme Court is also making a major decision about redistricting. The case is called Louisiana versus Callais, and it was argued in the Supreme Court on October 15, 2025. It's a voting rights case out of Louisiana, where a congressional district was created to remedy past discrimination against Black residents. Based on proven violations of the voting rights of Black voters and relying on the Voting Rights Act, the Louisiana legislature created a minority opportunity voting district. This is the kind of district that is a tool under the Voting Rights Act to give minority voters a fair chance to elect a representative to fight for their priorities. This is critically important everywhere, but especially in Louisiana, where the racial disparities between Blacks and whites are stark in almost every area. Louisiana has a huge number, millions of almost 5 million Black people live in Louisiana. It's one of the largest Black populations across the South. In 2000, though, one estimate was that the unemployment rate for whites was 4.7%. It was 13.6% for Black residents of Louisiana. The unemployment rate for the entire state was 7.3%, compared to 13.6% for Blacks. The per capita income for whites in Louisiana was $20,488, while the per capita income for Black folks was only $10,166. The Louisiana case was argued before the Supreme Court in March of 2025, but was not decided in the last term. The court ordered another argument and specifically directed the parties to address the question whether the creation of the second majority Black voting district violates the 14th or the 15th Amendment. Even though the state of Louisiana created the voting district to remedy past discrimination, the state's attorneys are now arguing against their own creation. If the court rules in favor of the state of Louisiana and upholds the lower court's decision to throw out the voting opportunity district, it will essentially repeal the Voting Rights Act of 1965. The fear is that there will simply be no way to enforce the law. It will exist on the books, but without a remedy. This right-wing court appears to be leaning to rule that a remedy for race discrimination, for decades of race discrimination, is in fact race discrimination. Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act is what prohibits racially discriminatory voting practices. If the court removes that tool, not much is left. And advocates say we will be back in the pre-1965 era. They also warn that what happens in the South will not stay in the South. Republican legislatures across the South can draw gerrymandered voting districts to prevent black people from electing representatives to Congress. The Republicans have a playbook, just as they did after Reconstruction, on how to eliminate black representation at the national level and at the state level. Their goal is the same today as it was centuries ago: preserve white supremacy by any means necessary. It is a goal that is not limited to the South. They have targeted counties in Missouri, New York, Indiana, and Ohio for gerrymandering voting districts. While the majority of black voters are in the South, everyone's right to vote will be impacted by these tactics and the soft rhetoric that supports them. The most devastating part, however, will be a Supreme Court decision that serves the goals of white supremacy without apology. Louisiana versus Callais could be the Dred Scott case of our time and our future.